great summer. It's been a great summer here in Clemson, South Carolina. We're all looking forward to getting this thing kicked off. We'll start wherever you guys want.
Coach, what were some of your biggest takeaways from the spring?
Yeah, really proud of how hard our guys obviously worked, and just excited about the experience, the leadership, the maturity. I think all three levels of our defense has really great leadership, really solid veteran experience, and that's the thing that I really noticed. Guys pouring in the younger guys, showing them the ropes, and just a lot more maturity and leadership this spring.
I think we just missed Christian Wilkins' freshman year in 2015.
Definitely.
But is Peter Woods getting some very similar comparisons, just like with his intangibles and leadership qualities and readiness to play right away?
Yeah, most definitely. He came in. I mean, his strength numbers are unreal. Just the power, the explosiveness, but most importantly, just a great young man. Just really fits our culture here and what we're about. And really excited to see him this fall.
You spoke about the maturity of the team. Is there anything you can speak on, just like the wellness of your coaching staff and team going into the season, just revamping over the summer?
Yeah, we got obviously just starting up front. A lot of guys coming back that could be at the next level. From Tyler and Rook inside, those guys are solid. They bring it every day. They're pros, so they really set the example of what it looks like and what it takes to be successful at a high level. And then on the edge, XT and Maskell coming back. I feel like they're both in different spots than they have been in the past. Just they're growing up and maturing and have really had a great off season. And then my room with Barrett and Trotter, they set the tone. They're all about their business every day, and they're really fun to coach. And then go back to the back end, Sheridan and Jalen Phillips. They could have been gone as well, and just the veteran presences that they have in those rooms, along with numerous other guys, that aren't seniors necessarily, but bring a lot of wealth of experience and leadership as well.
What's your evaluation of Makuba? Has he shown what y'all wanted to see this offseason as a whole, and sort of developed mentally the way y'all wanted to?
Yeah, definitely. Really excited to with where he's at. Really matured, has grown up, gotten healthy. First and foremost, I feel like he was broken down last year and really sacrificed himself last year for the greater good of the team. But he had a tremendous spring. He's added weight and mass, strength, and just overall knowledge of the scheme and ability to play multiple positions, and has really had a solid offseason.
Your first full season as defensive coordinator, what were some of the things you learned about yourself from yourself scouting in the offseason?
Yeah, you look back and evaluate everything. This position to grind you up from numerous different ways. Just from being a husband and father at home, dealing with all the stresses that come with being in this position. And then just looking back, I've grown as a teacher, teaching our scheme and relating to the players and what it takes every day to prepare my guys to perform at a high level. And then just overall, defensively, just adjustment-wise, how to handle things in game, what a typical game week looks like for me. I'm very comfortable in that process now, and just from a practice standpoint, how to drill fundamental football. I've grown tremendously in that aspect as well. So I'm super excited for year two. Feel really confident in where I'm at personally.
Was there a steep learning curve when you talk about in-game adjustments and going on the fly? Was there a gradual thing, or was there a point at which you felt like now light bulbs come on for you?
Yeah, I felt like even the Iowa State game, my first game, I felt like I had a good grasp, but it's a lot different being a guy that makes suggestions versus the guy that has to make the decisions and go with it, and just having that confidence, in your ability to make the right decisions, but then also have the confidence looking to your players and make those adjustments on the sideline to instill that confidence in them.
Wes, you mentioned teaching, and I was formerly a high school teacher, and I had to learn how to motivate different kids in the class. Can you speak to those challenges as a teacher in terms of the buttons for one player might not be the same for another? How do you manage that?
Yeah, most definitely. I think first and foremost, you have to know your players, and and that goes above and beyond just in the meeting rooms. You got to get to know their personalities and how they learn. Are they visual learners? Do they learn by just doing it in practice? The reps, the walkthroughs, the individuals, the practice reps against the offense. So I think first and foremost, you just have to know your players and then figure out a way to get them to learn and process that information. It's a lot coming at them in a short amount of time. From getting the call, going the down and distance, the field position, what the offense's personnel is, and taking a look at the formation, and then obviously motions and adjustments and making the right checks or whatever. So it's a lot to process, but just helping them manage that and then helping them also manage the stress and just having the confidence to have the knowledge to do all of that. And it's a process, but I'm a big believer in you have to know your personnel.
Wes, you talked about Trotter and Carter a little bit, but they've been known as like kind of the duo, the heart of this defense. What makes them so special as a pair?
Yeah, they're both unbelievable young men, just really high character. They both come in every day with the right mindset of getting better and great families, both of them. They do everything the right way. In the classroom, in this building, they put in extra time. And then obviously their athleticism and athletic ability speaks for itself. Just the ability to process things fast, their football knowledge, obviously they're athletic, super instinctual. I mean, you could sit here and talk for hours on those two guys, and I'm thankful I get to coach them every day.
Those guys are going to get all the preseason accolades, but what about Wade Woodaz? He had an auspicious debut last season.
Yeah.
Is he a name people will learn pretty quick this year?
I hope so. Wade's had a tremendous offseason, really added weight, changing his body daily, and just he's in that same category. Great family, really smart, loves it. He's a grinder. He works at it. Extremely knowledgeable. His skill set, he can do a lot of things. He's long, athletic, can run, physical, and just a tough kid. And I'm excited to see him this fall.
Wes, what's your level of concern as far as defensive end from an experience standpoint for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting the XT and Maskell back helps tremendously from that standpoint, and I feel like they're in really good spots. But after that, it's kind of unproven, like a lot of positions last year, but it's just something that you always have to deal with in the game of football, whether you're at this level, the NFL level, high school, or whatever, you're always going to have some transition in spots. But I'm excited to see, Cade get his opportunity. Zaire, needs to continue to grow as well. And obviously getting those freshmen in, TJ, him coming in the spring obviously helps him, but I think AJ and David will have a good camp, and excited to see where they're at from a knowledge standpoint and technique-wise. But I feel confident in XD and Maskell, and excited about those other guys to get their opportunity.
Is there somebody that maybe it's done in the spring or maybe here this summer you've heard that's kind of maybe we're not thinking about that could surprise us?
I mean, obviously, and then after those guys, then you got Armand Mason and Jaheim Lawson. They continue to grow in the weight room and continue to grow their knowledge standpoint. And, we'll see where they're at when we get started in August.
Wes, what did you like about what your defense did last year? And what are some things you said, well, you know what, we could do a little bit better coming into 2023?
Yeah, they gave it everything every day. It was a huge roller coaster last year from emotions and just challenges, injuries, guys playing banged up, really proud of the way that they showed grit, determination, and hey, we're going to lay it on the line every day. And, a lot of challenges from injuries, dealing with stuff off the field. Obviously, me being a first-year coordinator, inexperience in the back seven, but really proud of the way that those guys really fought and gave it everything they got.
Do you think that they can build on that effort last year to kind of even take it to a different level?
Most definitely. Everybody has a chip on their shoulder, and really this offseason have been showing that every day.
You could point to the biggest difference going into this season and last season. I guess it had to be the secondary, the no-brainer, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
You look at a guy like Nate Wiggins and his struggles early last season, and now he's finishes the season, the ACC championship he had.
Yeah, definitely. That was cool to see, go from Wake Forest to that game, and just it was an upward trend, and really cool to see.
Wes, when you have so many versatile guys at all three levels, how do you balance the benefits of that, moving them around, with making things simple enough to let them just sort of play fast?
Yeah, definitely. When you have guys that you can move around, obviously that helps from an injury standpoint because, long season, obviously guys are going to be in and out of the lineup, so you have to move pieces around. But then you also, there's a fine line where you can't move guys around enough that they don't really get good at one position. So we'll hopefully find out early what our best combination of guys are back there, and then obviously you move guys around and work them in different spots just to get them confidence in those different positions and stuff. But I think it's important that you create continuity, create chemistry, create confidence in guys playing side by side, and not create a bunch of different variables from that standpoint, if that answered.
I guess coming out of the spring, you talked about turnovers being an emphasis. You wanted to see more of those. Why was that something back in last season?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly where we finished turnover margin-wise, but turnovers win games, wins championships, creates big momentum, creates big plays in games. You never know when they're going to happen, but they make a huge difference. And you get what you emphasize. And I feel like this spring we really emphasized creating turnovers, a lot of different things, but that was one major emphasis. Hey, if we can steal a possession, and set our offense up for success, that's huge. And in the grand scheme of things, so just another thing to emphasize.
Is it just the mentality, or the things you can actually practice to get more?
It's both. You can grade guys. Hey, taking shots on balls. Whether it's a offensive guy running down the field and you see defenders trying to punch and strip the ball. It just becomes muscle memory and habit, and just a different way to teach and emphasize.
Where do you see Barnes and Lewis fitting in some positions that are pretty deep right now?
Yeah, definitely. I think they have a chance to challenge for opportunity. Khalil came in, I would say well beyond his years a little bit. Should have been going to the prom in the spring, but he's out here intercepting passes in the spring game. So really cool to see where he's at. Always has a smile on his face. Just a great kid who really fits us. Credit to his high school coaches. He came in, had a great knowledge standpoint. Technique has been superb for a young guy, and just excited to see him challenge for opportunity, whether that's playing 25 plays on special teams or getting in the rotation at nickel, safety, whatever it is, I think he's got a chance to challenge for those opportunities. And then same thing with Shelton, super competitive kid, all about his business, shows up with the right mindset, and just fighting for opportunity like everyone else. And we'll see how it all shakes out in August. But those two definitely have an opportunity to challenge.
does that actually look like? Do you call other coaches that you know, get feedback? Do you just talk to Dabo, just watch film yourself over and over? Like, what does that actually look like?
Yeah, a lot of different things. I got a circle of friends that are coordinators at different spots that I rely on. I talk to maybe once or twice a week or whatever, just bounce ideas or how can I get better in this area, and then obviously watching a ton of film. Even now I'll go back and throw on games from last year and just watch the flow of the game and the adjustments and that sort of thing, and then just obviously being out on the road recruiting, get a lot of time to yourself, whether that's driving in a car or a late night at a hotel or whatever. Just a lot of time, to yourself to think about different things and write down. I keep a journal on my iPad basically, and just write down things, how I would have did things different, or maybe, hey, I like how this is or whatever. I wouldn't change this at all. But just a lot of different ways to self-reflect and grow.
This time last year, did you have a proper grasp of that idea that you're talking about, or the fact that you were talking about you can only learn some of these things through doing it
Oh,
when the lights are on?
yeah, definitely.
You did, so you had a...
Yeah, I had no idea, like
Oh, you
something.
did not?
Yeah, like until you're thrown in the fire, you don't necessarily know. So it's definitely a learning experience every day.
I guess in terms of you now have 2 springs under your belt, fall camp, the season. Like, what are the things that you do you think now that didn't quite that kind of conform in terms of how you're going to shape the defense, how you're going to teach things?
Yeah, I guess just looking at things from a big picture perspective, of whether it's drilling fundamental football, just emphasizing certain things like the turnovers, how to, just the confidence that it takes to get up in front of the guys every day. Even dealing with you guys, I feel like going back, I've grown tremendously in that area. And so I'm excited about year 2.
Wes, we constantly hear coaches talk about having to re-recruit their roster in the transfer portal and NIL era. Can you speak to just how your day-to-day has changed in the new era of college football?
Maybe it's changed a little bit, but I feel like just by being myself and just the reason why I got into coaching was to build great men through the game of football. And, I feel like if you do that every day and you are who you are and you're transparent and pour into guys, then I think that sells itself, sort of deal. And obviously, Clemson, we're a great place. We have unlimited or really good resources to take care of guys from that standpoint. But people don't stay at places as long as this would be my 12th year at Clemson. Coach Sweeney, 20-something years here as well. You don't stay at a place and for that amount of time and be full of crap. People know who you are, and I think just being who we are every day, guys want to come back. Tyler Davis's roots, XT Maskell, Sheridan Jones, JP. Those guys want to come back because of the culture that Coach Sweeney has created here.
Since we're talking about the transfer portal, Coach Sweeney has brought in 2 transfers in all time, both backup third-string quarterbacks. Is that something that y'all talk about with recruits? I mean, that's so rare. I mean, most schools are bringing in 20 or more guys from the transfer portal every year. Is that a selling point that come here, we're not going to go outside to find a guy to replace him?
Most definitely. I mean, that's a huge selling point because I would say typically, most guys make the jump in their 3rd year of football, even seeing at the NFL level. Rookies coming in usually takes about 2 to 3 years, just catching up the speed of the game and so forth and so on. But it goes back to we've never signed a junior college player here either. If you come in, put in the time, put in the work, and once the guys, once you get your opportunity or whatever, coach is really committed to those guys versus bringing guys in. And two, when you have guys in and out of your locker room, you can't maintain a culture. If guys are here for 6 months and leaving, it's a really, really bad vibe in your locker room. And thankfully, coach has been here and we've been established for a long time, so we don't have to deal with some of the things that new staffs are dealing with or even others. And it's really cool to see guys come in and really put in the work and time, and then once they get their opportunity to see them maximize it.
When you're done, when you're sort of diagnosing past units, breakdowns last year, what's at the top of your list of the sort of the culprit, I guess? Is it one thing, or is it a lot of interrelated things, not so much pressure at all, maybe one of the head, or just wondering what you identify as?
Yeah, I think it was a multitude of things. I think, whether just guys playing technique wrong, maybe it was the call. There wasn't a huge amount of mental error bust for touchdowns. I feel like guys were in the right position. Maybe they played the technique wrong, lost leverage a lot of times. Whether a guy's supposed to be inside leverage on a route and he lets the receiver stem inside, cross his face, and beat him. So lost leverages as well. And then I feel like last year we played some really talented quarterbacks and receivers as well. So a couple times, maybe sometimes you just tip your hat to them as well. But applying the technique and maintaining leverages were a big part of it.
Do you feel like we got home enough in terms of pressure on quarterbacks, and are there ways that you can get more pressure this year?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we left a lot out there from that standpoint. We finished up there in sacks and tackles for loss again, but I can think of times where we missed a sack and let a guy get out, and maybe it didn't affect anything. Maybe it was a throwaway or whatever, but we need to definitely convert more on some of our opportunities.
Do you feel like you were as aggressive as you wanted to be blitz-wise? Go back and look at the numbers. Was it about where you wanted to be in terms of the number of blitz you wanted?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you see Makuba continue to move beyond, or maybe primarily Nicole or young folks?
Yeah, I think early on, hopefully we can identify our best 11 and get those guys comfortable in that spot, whether that's him at nickel or him at strong safety. But he'll definitely have the opportunity at one of those two spots.
I guess when James Kelsey was here, a lot of people talked about it as like the extension of Red Bull. How much do you feel like Jeremiah has reached the level of basically your extension in terms of his knowledge of the defense, field goal?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like he understands what's going on in front of him and behind him, which is what all great linebackers do. They understand the big picture, how everything fits together. And he could go in there and he can draw up what all 11 guys have to do, all the adjustments. He's a thinker, very inquisitive in meetings and wants to understand. And he definitely sees things how I see them.
How much do you see him as a leader of the defense, or are there other guys you feel like can take up that role this year as a leader?
Yeah, I mean, he's up there. I that's probably one area. I've challenged him. Both him and Barrett. Hey, be vocal leaders, because guys really respect you in the locker room, and you have their ear. And we like I said earlier, Tyler Davis, Rook, those guys, JP, Sheridan Jones, throw those two guys in there, and numerous other guys as well.
So how would you assess the rushing defense overall last year, and what's some stuff you want to improve?
Yeah, definitely. We were up there for a while, but I think we finished like top 15 or whatever, and definitely an area where we can get better at. So really challenge those guys up front. I think some injuries hurt us at times. A little bit of guys in and out of the lineup, but we need to clean up our technique, our directional steps with our movements and pressures. Hey, call a pressure versus a run. And it's a one gap movement. Don't go two gaps and create issues from that standpoint. And then also from the second level, just the backers being more comfortable and fitting gaps and run fit wise. That's a big learning curve for younger linebackers with all the different coverages and all the variables that the offense presents. Motions and then swappers. A lot of eye candy in today's world, and Trotter's grown in that area. Barrett gets better every day. Wade has a really good understanding of all those guys. So really excited to see how we do in that area as well.
Do you have an assessment of Queen, Page, and Capehart, and Trey Williams? I mean, there's a lot of talk about those frontline guys.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about what you see them, sort of their upside this year.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to have a lot of opportunities to provide good depth up front. Really pleased from where they all were coming out of spring. Excited to see them get their opportunity as well. Those frontline guys can't play the whole game up front. You need to be rolling guys in, keeping guys fresh. And but Capehart, super strong. Continues to grow his knowledge base every day. Works really hard at it. Peyton, changed his body from the time he got here. Just has really grown from a technique and knowledge standpoint as well.
So you guys have done this in the past in terms of playing three defensive tackles on the field at the same time. I mean, how open are you to playing that or against the best defensive linemen on the field just because of the depth you have?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to play our best 11 and what gives us the best combination to be successful. And, I feel confident we're in a good spot in the defensive end room. But, hey, if we need to go big, and whether it's a Notre Dame or Boston College playing 12 and 13 personnel and you need to get bigger guys out there, we're definitely open to that. We're always going to want to be a 4-3 team. 4-2-5 off of it when we go nickel versus 11 personnel and sub packages, but whatever the best combination is to give us the opportunity to be successful, that's what we'll be about.
A few minutes ago, you mentioned you didn't know certain things until you were in the fire. What were some of the things that you learned by being in the fire?
Yeah, just how much time it takes to recruit at a high level, or how much time do I need to devote to game planning, how to manage a staff, just getting up in front of the defense every day, coaching linebackers, organizing practice from that standpoint. Hey, going from a guy that helps to being the guy in charge. Just a lot of different areas. I mean, you grow your character, how to deal with all the stresses, how to tune out all the noise and focus on the task at hand. Just, you could sit up here and talk for 20 or 30 minutes on that, but yeah, it definitely grinds you up for sure.
Take one more.
Talking about next Steve, what do you want to see from him? I mean, I know that he's put in a good offseason, but what does he have to show sort of in August?
Yeah, hopefully just consistency, just hopefully he can stay healthy. Obviously that's plagued him in the past, and just want to see him have consistency every day from that standpoint. He looks really good. Had a great, he loves the weight room and that sort of thing. But the biggest thing is just him being able to stay healthy and be there every day.